Welcome to Scotland Unplugged, and the story of the real Jekyll and Hyde. This is Edinburgh's Old Town. And this is Deacon William Brodie, a man with a lot going on. He was president of the Guild of Wrights and Masons. He was on the city council. This is where he had his workshop. He hung out with the great and the good of the time, a fine, upstanding member of society, a respectable family man. With a couple of extra families, a serious gambling habit, and presumably a lot of overheads. He wasn't just burning the candle at both ends, he was keeping it lit with £50 notes. Player. Sorry. Basically, Brodie liked the good life. This is Flesh Market Close, the place where he did all his debauchery. But funding it was starting to become a problem. Apart from being an accomplished cabinet maker, he was also a talented locksmith. I think you can tell where this is going. His first robbery is thought to have taken place in 1768, when he had the chance to take an impression of a lock in a bank. That cheeky heist netted Brodie £800. That's about 136 grand in today's money. That kind of cash will buy a lot of Christmas presents. Which is kind of a good thing, because Brodie had quite a lot of kids. But that was just the start. In 1786, Brodie met George Smith, another accomplished locksmith, nicknamed in history as the Demon Grocer. That is a cool nickname. Kinda sounds like a euphemism. I'm not really sure what for, but I will find out. They gathered themselves up a couple of accomplices, and that's when the real robbing started. Brodie had access to some of the finest addresses in the city, and they took full advantage. They even stole the mace from Edinburgh Uni, but living large was never enough for the Deacon, and eventually he pushed things too far. On the brink of capture, with a substantial reward on his head, Brodie did what all good gamblers do, doubled down. He decided to rob the taxman. Only this time, they didn't cut keys, they broke in with guns. Needless to say, it all went horribly wrong. And when one of his accomplices decided to turn king's evidence for the reward, the gig was up, and Brodie hightailed it to Amsterdam. We've all been there. He also slightly incriminated himself by writing to everyone he knew, boasting about the crime. Possibly the greatest act of self-immolation until a year later, when Marie Antoinette started handing out dietary advice. He could have denied it if he hadn't had a travel chest full of unsent letters when they caught him. Brodie just didn't know when to shut up. Would have been a nightmare on Twitter. And in 1788, they decided to hang him. But Brodie wasn't done there. Oh no. At that execution, in front of a crowd of about 40,000 people, Brodie proudly boasted that he was about to be put to death on a device of his own invention, which could have been a little bit true. He also bribed the hangman not to notice the steel collar he was wearing round his neck, planning to be revived after he was taken down. They say God loves a trier, but Deacon Brodie couldn't catch a break. And like your awkward uncle waiting on a high five, they left him hanging just a bit too long. And that's the last we hear of Deacon Brodie. Apart from the sightings in Paris, obviously. So is Deacon Brodie the real Jekyll and Hyde? Robert Louis Stevenson grew up in Edinburgh. His father owned furniture made by Deacon Brodie. He was fascinated with Deacon Brodie's double life. He even wrote a play called Deacon Brodie or The Double Life. But maybe it goes a bit deeper than that. This is the South Bridge. It was designed by Robert Adam and completed in 1788. It spans a total of 19 arches, but as you can see, there's only one on show. Over the years, the city's grown round it, creating a network of tunnels and vaults, a place with a good few bad memories. This is the Banshee Labyrinth, Scotland's most haunted pub, and named after the Banshee that lives in the labyrinth. The whole of the old town's like this. History bricked in over time. Mary King's Close, a street sealed up to keep in the plague, the architectural equivalent of papering over the cracks, but the paper looks pretty damn enticing, even if it is a poor relation to its new town sibling. It's a city of extremes, old and new, order and chaos, darkness and light. Maybe the real Jekyll and Hyde is Edinburgh itself.